Okay, this video is on Unit 3, Lesson 3, and it is on factoring quadratics. And this video in particular, I'm going to talk about one way of factoring quadratics. Okay, there are many different ways out there, and if you've learned one way and you're really good at it, or if you prefer any other way, that's fine. Use your way, okay, as long as it works. Okay, but this way, if you're my student, I recommend using this way all the time because it works all the time and there's no guessing in it. It takes all the guesswork out of it. Okay. So this is on factoring by grouping. Okay. The method is called grouping. So here's example number 1. I have 4x squared minus 12x plus 5. First of all, you want to do the GCF, always GCF, which means is there any number that goes into 4 and 12 and 5? The answer is no, so there's no GCF. So what you want to do is when you look at your quadratic, I want to look at it this way. Think of these three numbers as separate things, okay? There's a 4, negative 12, and 5. We call this A, B, and C. Okay, so what you do, you take A times C, or the first number times the last number, pink times yellow. So I have 4 times 5 gives you 20. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a T-chart right under them. Then I come up with two numbers that add or multiply to be 20, but add to be negative 12. So I'm going to go through all the numbers that multiply to be 20, okay? Like 1 times 20. But when I add them, it gives me 21, and I need negative 12. So I'm going to try negative 1 and negative 20. When I add them, I get negative 21, not 12, right? So I don't use that. I'm going to try 2 and 10. 2 times 10 is 20, but when I add, I get positive 12. I need negative 12. So I'm going to try negative 2 and negative 10, which gives you negative 12. And that's what I want right there. I want negative 2 and negative 10. So what happens is I'm going to keep the first term the same, but my negative 12 now splits into these two numbers from here. From the two numbers I just found, so I have negative 2 and negative 10. And the positive 5 still stays there, okay? So from here, I can go ahead and split them into two groups, okay? Like this. I move them back, and then I'm going to put parentheses around them and put a plus sign in between. So I group the first two, and I group the last two. That's it. And the next step is to factor something out from the first group and factor something out from the second group. So I can take out 2x from the first group, and I can take out negative 5 from the second group, right? Because 5 goes into 10 and 5. So now it looks like this. I took out 2x. I have 2x minus 1 here. And I take out a negative 5. I have 2x minus 1 here. The whole goal is to make this group look the same. The 2x minus 1 and the 2x minus 1. As long as they look the same, that's what you want. So once they look the same, they are one of your factors, like that. And the other guys, the 2x and negative 5, they are your other factor. And so here, you're done here. These are your factors, okay? Example number 2, I have 8x squared minus 8x minus 6. Again, first thing is GCF. Is there a number that goes into 8, 8, and 6? Yeah, the number is 2, so I take a 2 out. And so I have 4x squared minus 4x minus 3. And again, I take first number times the last number. Gives you 4 minus negative times negative 3 equals negative 12. And I need two numbers that multiply to be negative 12, but add to be negative 4. So I'm going to try 1 and negative 12. That gives you negative 11. Nope. So I'm going to try negative 1 and positive 12 gives you positive 11. That's not good. A lot of you guys, when you get good, you can guess the numbers right away. Okay, but the way I'm doing this, I'm going to show you can go one by one and eventually find it. Okay, I'm going to use 2 and negative 6. That adds, give you negative 4. That is what I want. So I'm going to take these two numbers and split my middle term into that. So I have this. All right, the 2 stays there, okay, guys? Don't move the 2 anywhere. The 2 stays there with you. First term stays the same. The middle term becomes positive 2 and negative 6. And the last term stays the same, which is still negative 3. Then I group them like that. Oh, there you go. And then I have the first group, 2 guys, and the last 2 guys here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor from the first group and I'm going to factor from the second group. First group, I can get out 2x. And the second group, I can take out a 3, negative 3. Okay, So here, the 2 is still there. See the orange 2 all the way from the beginning is still there. But I take out 2x from the first group. So I have 2x times 2x plus 1. Here I have negative 3 out. I get 2x plus 1 left. See these two guys that look the same? They are your one factor. That. And these guys give you the other factor. And don't forget the 2. The 2 comes down like that. And these are your factors. Okay, example number 3. I have ax squared minus 18. Again, GCF first. Any number that can go into 8 and negative 18. Yeah. What is it? 2. So I took a 2 out. I have 4x squared minus 9. And here, again, make them look like the ABC that we had earlier, pink, red, and yellow. So I don't have the x in between, so I'm going to put a 0x there. Okay. And then, again, same thing. 4 times negative 9 gives you negative 36. And they have to add to be 0. So, these numbers aren't going to work. That gives you negative 35. They're not going to work. If you want to add to 0, you need two numbers that are the same but opposite signs. So I figured that's got to be 6 and negative 6. They add to be 0. See? I split this into 6 and negative 6. Now it looks like that. Again, I group them and I factor them, right? So I group the first two and I factor out 2x. I group the second group and I factor out negative 3. I have 2x plus 3 here. And then that becomes your other factor. 2x minus 3 is your other factor. Don't forget the 2 follows through, okay?